They don't want a senseless, hurtful trade war. To your closest allies, we are friends. We have.
The roaring and screaming of foreign-made cars on American roads is about to get a lot quieter thanks to Trump's tariff war. The U.S. government is slapping hefty taxes on imported vehicles, aiming to push foreign car brands out of the market and make room for American manufacturers. But will this bold move really make America great again by killing off foreign competition, or is it setting us up for a whole new set of problems?
With President Trump doing something. Minutes ago, he was outside the White House with Elon Musk and Teslas. Let's listen in.
In the United States, there is no place anywhere in the world that looks like that.
Tariffs are taxes or duties imposed by a government on imported goods. Essentially, when a foreign company sends goods to the U.S., they pay a fee, which can make those goods more expensive for American consumers. During his presidency, Donald Trump has taken a bold approach to trade, using tariffs as a primary tool to reshape the global economic landscape, particularly targeting countries he felt were taking advantage of America's open markets. His idea was simple. By taxing imports, American-made goods would be more competitive and attractive, and U.S. businesses would thrive. Trump's strategy was rooted in the idea of protectionism, which is all about shielding domestic industries from foreign competition. Trump's tariffs were part of his America First policy, and they were especially aggressive towards China. However, he didn't stop there. Foreign car manufacturers became a central target in his tariff war. The logic behind it was straightforward. If foreign automakers like Toyota, BMW, and Volkswagen are selling cars in the US, their products should be taxed heavily, thus raising the prices of foreign cars and making American-made cars a more attractive choice. The goal was to push foreign manufacturers to either build more cars in the US or face the consequences of paying higher tariffs.
Which one did you buy?
Yeah. Wait, Mr. President.
Which one did you buy?
Which car are you going to buy?
The one I like is that one.
And how does this work?
And I want that same color.
Are you going to put down a credit card? Elon, would you take a personal check from the president?
One of the most significant moments in Trump's tariff policy came during an interaction at the White House with Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla. In a public meeting, Trump praised Tesla for its innovation and manufacturing prowess, signaling the company's potential as a key player in the American car industry. Musk's involvement was pivotal while Trump pushed for tariffs on foreign car brands. He also recognized the importance of promoting domestic electric vehicles, with Tesla being the frontrunner.
I'll do it. I'm going to stop them. We catch anybody doing it because they're harming a great American company. You know, I've stuck up for the NFL. I've stuck up for a lot of...
Musk's business was poised to benefit from tariffs as it was an American company not subject to the same fees as foreign competitors. This helped solidify Tesla's position as an industry leader while making it a darling of the Trump administration. Essentially, the tariff wasn't just about making foreign car brands pay more, it was about making sure Tesla and other American manufacturers could shine without the same level of competition. The effects of Trump's tariffs on foreign car brands were far-reaching, and they didn't just affect the manufacturers, they had a direct impact on consumers as well. Car companies like Toyota, BMW, and Volkswagen, which had invested heavily in manufacturing plants in the US, were among the hardest hit by Trump's tariffs. They had to either absorb the cost of the tariffs or pass them on to the consumers through higher prices. For instance, BMW's production in the US felt the effects of these tariffs as the company was caught between keeping their vehicles affordable and meeting the added costs from higher import taxes. Foreign manufacturers with U.S. production plants like Toyota had to navigate the cost of U.S.-made parts being taxed and the tariffs on their imported models, which further complicated their pricing strategy. Would these companies leave the U.S. altogether? It's not likely. The U.S. market is too valuable for foreign car brands to abandon completely. However, the tariffs have pushed these companies to rethink their strategies. Some car manufacturers decided to shift more of their production to the U.S. in an attempt to bypass the tariffs. For example, Japan's Toyota and Germany's BMW both expanded production in their U.S. plants, hoping that doing so would help avoid some of the import duties. While this didn't completely eliminate the tariffs, it was a way to mitigate their impact. However, shifting production is no small feat. It involves hefty investments, adjustments in the supply chain, and logistical challenges, not to mention the impact on the labor force. The question of whether foreign car brands will leave the U.S. market entirely is unlikely. but the pressure from tariffs does create a tough environment for them. What's more concerning is how these tariffs could lead to higher prices for consumers. Car buyers in the US might find themselves paying more for foreign-made cars, whether they're coming from a German factory or a Japanese one. Those who prefer foreign cars, particularly high-end models, could be the hardest hit, as luxury vehicles often have thin profit margins. In the end, this could limit consumer choice, as some foreign brands may reduce their range of models or even scale back on production in the US. American car manufacturers like Ford, GM, and Chrysler are undoubtedly facing the challenge of Trump's tariff policies. As foreign car brands like Toyota, BMW, and others struggle with higher costs due to these tariffs, US car manufacturers are supposed to step in and pick up the slack. But can they handle the additional demand? The truth is, while these companies are certainly capable of ramping up production, they're also facing some serious challenges too. Ford, GM, and Chrysler have long been established players in the US market, but they're also dealing with their own set of problems. For one, their production lines are set up for mass production of specific vehicle types that cater to American tastes. While they might have the capacity to increase production, shifting gears to meet a surge in demand for particular models can be a logistical nightmare. Moreover, many of these companies have relied on global supply chains to keep costs low and efficiency high. The introduction of tariffs has disrupted that balance, potentially raising production costs and making it harder to meet the needs of the American consumer. One of the major advantages American car manufacturers have is that they're already producing cars in the US. As foreign manufacturers face tariffs on imported vehicles, American manufacturers can shift focus and take advantage of the gaps in the market. This creates an opportunity to increase market share, but it requires flexibility, investment, and time. Ford, for instance, has been focusing heavily on electric vehicles and SUVs, which have become extremely popular with US consumers. GM has also invested in electric vehicle technology and self-driving cars, signaling a shift toward future-oriented technology. While these investments are promising, they're still in their early stages and won't immediately help fill the gap left by foreign brands. The tariff situation could lead to job growth in the US auto industry, which is exactly what Trump has been hoping for, if it weren't for all of his tariffs on Canada and all of the auto parts that come from there. His idea was to incentivize companies to manufacture more products in the US, so more American workers will be hired to meet the production demand. Now, that could have been especially beneficial for skilled laborers in the manufacturing sector, where jobs might be created in factories that build cars or produce parts that were previously imported, if for the fact that those parts aren't now extremely expensive due to these tariffs. The long-term growth of these jobs depends on how quickly all these companies can adjust to the new tariff landscape and whether there's enough demand to even sustain it. And while some job growth does seem likely, it's not guaranteed that every new job will be a high-paying one, or that it'll offset the higher costs consumers have to face due to all these tariffs. The long-term economic consequences of Trump's tariff war are complex and far-reaching. While the tariffs were meant to benefit American industries, including the car sector, the broader effects are not so clear-cut. One of the most immediate consequences is the rise in production costs for US manufacturers. With the introduction of tariffs on foreign-made parts and raw materials, American companies are finding themselves paying more to produce their goods. These increased costs will likely be passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices, not just for cars, but for a wide range of products that rely on imported components. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comment section down below.